Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the physical appearance and physical attractiveness of the Aries Rising, so stay tuned for that. But I just want to start off this video today by saying a big massive thank you to all of you who sent in your images for the purpose of this video. So as I say, thank you so much, but at the same time I do apologize if you're not shown within this video. I'm going to try my very best to get all of you included, but yeah, just thank you and sorry if not. And also, if you do like this video, make sure that you give it a like today, and also make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and to of course click that little bell icon so that you can keep updated with further content from myself. And one more quick thing to mention as well is that I do have some really cool merchandise that's currently on my Teespring, so definitely be sure to check that out if you are interested. Right, so without further ado, Aries Risings, let's do this. Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to highlight that we're specifically focusing on the rising sign today, but you can also look to the sun sign along with the midheaven for more of an indication into physical appearance. And some astrologers also like to look at the location of the chart ruler. So look for the chart ruler within the chart to get more of an indication into physical appearance as well. And I also just want to say that I made a physical appearance series about 3 years ago on the channel, but I would like to think that within the space of 3 years I have learned a lot and grown a lot as a person and also as an astrologer. So here's hoping that this one is a little bit more detailed and thorough and it possesses more of a deeper understanding. But the main difference between that one and this one is that in the previous one I used celebrity examples, but then with this one I'm using you guys. I'm using my viewers, my subscribers as examples. So again, thank you so much. Then, so what is it about the Aries Risings that can be deemed as physically attractive? Well, the first and most obvious and well-known physical attribute to mention is their prominent, broad and wide forehead. But if not for them being the forehead being quite wide, the forehead can appear quite narrow and high and long. There's just something about their forehead that can really stand out. Naturally, however, the appearance of their head can differ, right? Depending on the likes of their hair is a big one here. So if they have a fringe or bangs, for example, then the head, it might not stand out as much. But what I noticed out of the images sent in to me is how many of them had hair that it was parted kind of to the side of the middle, okay? And so most of the hair would fall to one side, and then still a good bit of hair would fall to the other side, whilst the hair, it appeared quite pushed back as well. And it was with these individuals that I saw more of that apparent forehead that I'm talking about here. Now, there was one particular individual specifically who is bald, showing that more obvious and noticeable head just overall. Which, quick side note, apparently Aries rising males, they are prone to baldness. Now that's not to say that they all are, it's just a potentiality here. And come to think of it, I did notice a few more males who had what looks like the receding hairlines. Now I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, because contrary to what the media portrays and tells you, some people are just more prone to hair loss the older they get, or just overall, just be a thing. And some people may be more prone to having thinner hair, etc. And that's okay. And besides, I'm sure there are plenty of people who may look at somebody with less hair or who are completely bald and be like, yes, they are physically attractive. Though ultimately, when it comes to the Aries rising head, it can usually appear quite wide as it angles, kind of like, I'll show you what I mean. So it can angle like this, or it can angle more like this, more sort of like a square shape. So as I say, it could go round, you can really notice those angles here, or it can just be a bit more. And this actually leads me on to another thing about the Aries risings that may be viewed as physically attractive, and that's how angular their facial structures can appear. Seriously, the Aries risings can give the Capricorn risings a run for their money here in terms of their bone structure. So their bone structures, they can just be quite sharp. So they can have really well defined cheekbones, they can have really sharp and angular jaws, they can have quite pointy and V-shaped chins, and again, they can have those edgy sort of angles at the top of their face as well. And I even noticed one individual in particular who had really fierce angles on her mandible. I think that's how it's pronounced, the mandible. So meaning, see right here, it was so well angled, so well defined, and just sharp. And in terms of their face shapes, just in general, I picked up on many diamond face shapes, quite a few of them, where the face can appear to have that narrow forehead with the wider cheekbones and a pointed chin. And out of those who appeared to have a bit more flesh, a bit more of a fleshy kind of face, there's a bit more fat there, you could still pick up, okay? It doesn't really matter, you could still pick up on the angles anyways. Though, to be fair, I also noticed some oblong face shapes as well, truly emphasizing the length of their face. But whatever the face shape, still it's the Aries rising that can have these really strong looking facial structures with a somewhat intense edginess. And the same thing could also be said when it comes to their eyes as well, because not only can their eyes appear to be very well contrasted, but their gaze, okay? Their gaze can just hit you right in the face with a bang. There's certainly no breaking eye contact with an Aries rising. They're usually very good at keeping their focus on you whenever maybe you're having a conversation. Though, of course, that's not to say that you can hold their attention for very long. Because the thing is about them is that these individuals, they can get kind of bored pretty easily, and they're more drawn towards people who ignite their fire and ignite their excitement, and they're kind of zest for life. Yeah, they can be quite impatient people. They can be. And they can often appear like they have somewhere to be. So if you see them out in public or at school, for example, and they're walking to get to a certain place, okay, their focus is just going to be on getting there, and that's it. Everything else en route towards getting there is kind of just like background noise to them. But then the moment that you approach them, or maybe you call them, just to say hello, boom, that's it. They are looking at you head on. However, if they do not know you, they might appear quite standoffish or as pretty defensive. Kind of similar to the Scorpio risings, but that's just because there's a great deal of self-protection when it comes to these rising signs. And sure, they may not know what other people's intentions are, but you betcha will they know eventually. And if it is that they can sense anything from another person, they will be ready to move. They will be ready to act. They will be ready to attack if need be. But yes, their gaze can appear pretty strong and unshakable at times. And also, when it comes to their eyebrows can possess those angles that I was just talking about there. Bear in mind, they might not have the heaviest or the fullest of eyebrows, but the arches in their eyebrows, combined with the very prominent and angular frontal eye bone. So like just here, that eye bone. That combination together, it can, some would say it could suggest quite a ram-like appearance. No, but seriously, in all seriousness, it's really the strength in this whole area going on here that can be viewed as physically attractive, and especially when they have more of that serious look on their face, they can appear as if they're in charge, as if they know what they're doing, as if they know what they want. But they can also appear quite mischievous and childlike as well, along with appearing rather lively and youthful, which I guess is another thing to mention when it comes to the Aries risings, and that's just how they can go from being this badass hothead to this excited, giddy child in seconds. So one moment they might be strongly focused on obtaining a goal, for example, where again everything else is just like background noise as they push to accomplish what it is that they want or what is theirs. But then the next moment they're super excited and they're jumpy and they're fidgety and they're energized like a bunny. They really can be such high-spirited and adventurous people who enjoy taking on new challenges and new projects. So in this way, they might be full of nervous and excitable energy, and it's this energy that they desire to burn off, preferably through physical activity. They might be the types of people who are really into their fitness, so you'll find them joining fitness classes or joining the gym or setting new personal bests or competing in competitions. Or they might be the types of people who are super into their sports, so you'll find them supporting certain teams or as part of a specific team. Or they might be the types of people who just enjoy burning off that fired up energy through the likes of sex. So they might like playing the field for a little bit just to kind of see who or what works. Or they might really enjoy exploring their sexual lusts and desires with a particular partner, preferably a partner who can keep up. Then again, they might be the types of people who assert most of their energy into the likes of education, music, media, romance, or their career. But whatever the case, it's really the Aries risings who truly thrive when it comes to being confronted with new, exciting, and action-packed challenges. So if you're someone who is attracted to their strong stamina as well as their fast pace, then you might be attracted to an Aries rising. Though moving along, another thing that I picked up on here out of the images sent in to me is how clear their skin appears, and again how youthful they appear. There just seems to be such a clearness to their skin, and I've also heard before that Aries risings are known for not wearing overly a lot of makeup or just not wearing makeup at all, which I did notice out of some of the individuals who sent in their images to me. So could it be suggested here that no makeup or less makeup keeps their skin looking more youthful and clear? Of course, this is just a speculation. It's just a comment to make, I just wonder. And I also could see a few dimples. There can certainly be a level of innocence, let's just say, when it comes to their facial features or their facial expressions and their mannerisms at times. Though still, when they're upset or when they're moody, when they're angry, you're most likely going to know about it. Let's just say that being coy isn't their strongest asset. And what I mean by this is that an Aries rising can have a very what you see is what you get demeanor. So if they're excited and they're in high spirits, you're going to know about it. But then likewise, if they're angry or they're grumpy or they're pissed off, you'll probably know about it. But then again, It's also good to look at Mars, okay? Look at the chart ruler, look to see what sign Mars is in, etc. Look at aspects and all that good stuff for more of an indication, because that placement could maybe tell a bit of a different story. But essentially, you'll most likely notice when an Aries rising doesn't want to do something, or whenever they don't want to take a certain direction or command from others. After all, they are highly independent people, which I suppose is another thing about them, and that is just how independent they can be, and just how this within itself can be such a physically attractive thing when it comes to them. Especially just even looking at their personality, etc. Seeing them being self-assured, being self-assertive, being independent. You may look at them and then you may find yourself becoming more physically attracted to that part of their personality. Seriously, these are people who give off a sort of, let's just say, I don't need anybody because I have myself demeanor. They can give off this very lone wolf demeanor, very self-reliant and individual demeanor. So, as I said briefly earlier, they might know exactly what they want, for example, or they might give off an impression that they know exactly what they're doing, or if it is that they might have their heart set on something, then you may look at that and be like, whoa, I really, really admire your passion. I admire your drive in this, you know, and yeah, it's these types of things that can be deemed as physically alluring. And so in this way, if you want to be a part of an Aries rising's life, it's really best to support them, or at least to just appreciate their pioneering personality. But you know, on one hand, sure, some people may feel intimidated by their independence, but on the other hand, I also think it's their independence that can be wildly attractive and alluring, because many people may often wish that they could be as self-motivated and as aggressive in meeting a goal or a challenge. Now, another quick thing that I want to bring up is how Aries risings are often said to have reddish hair. Naturally, this can depend on their race or their ethnicity, but I really wanted to mention this specifically because there was one individual who sent in their image to me who has a sun, moon and rising all in Aries, so it's a triple Aries, and I just really wanted to showcase him just to show you an example of the triple Aries. So with that, I noticed he has the reddish hair, which is most noticeable in his facial hair. But still, out of the images sent in to me, I did notice a couple of other people with the reddish hair, and then I noticed a few people with lighter hair, and then I also noticed a few people with more of the darker hair as well. But out of most of them, I just saw a pattern of people with wilder hair, okay? It appeared more wild, more free, and quite shiny as well. So overall, when it comes to the Aries rising's physical appearance and physical attractiveness, what I will say is just how they can come across as tough and strong. There can be a somewhat ruggedness and a somewhat huskiness to their appearance that can be viewed as physically attractive and alluring, which, by the way, do not doubt their physical strength or their resilience either, because their physicality can be on par with people who work out extensively. Yeah, you can get an Aries rising person who's maybe in their 30s, their 40s, and they are running laps around people who are in their 20s. They can have a lot of stamina, a lot of drive, a lot of energy, a lot of strength. And that, I think, can certainly be physically appealing, because other people, they may be truly drawn to that passion, okay? Though, just on a quick side note, I want to say here to end this video is, sure, an Aries rising can appear really tough and strong on the outside, but that does not mean that they're not sensitive, or that they're not kind of scared sometimes on the inside, okay? They can give off this demeanor that they are fearless and that they are untouchable, or that nobody can get to them, you know, I'm really tough as nails. But I like to think of the version of the Aries symbol of, you know how there's the ram, right? But then there's also a lamb. You kind of think of a little baby lamb, and it's so cute and it's so innocent and it's kind of naive, etc. Yeah, you can often find with Aries rising individuals is that there can be a naivety, there can be a kind of innocence and a sort of sensitivity, let's just say. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the physical appearance and physical attractiveness of the Aries rising. Now, if you happen to have an Aries rising, or if you happen to be one of the Aries rising individuals who sent in your images for the video today, then definitely let us know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. And again, a big massive thank you to all of you who did send in your images. But yes, with all that being said then, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course, make sure that you click that subscribe button if you have not already, so that you can keep updated with further content from myself, and make sure that you give my merchandise a little visit if you are interested, and I will catch you on the next video on Hannah's Elsewhere. Bye!